Hey there, I'm Skylar, and welcome back to the Hardcore series. In the last episode, we built a wonderful little village for our villagers back there. And we definitely still have a lot of terraforming to do in the surrounding areas, but this place is looking amazing. We have so many villagers running around, so many farmers, and they have their own crops so they can just breed over and over again nonstop. And I have been spending a good amount of time in this area just to get them to breed because I think we're ready to start making some different trading halls for these villagers. My main goal for the day is to get whatever project we decide to work on today finished before the 500-day mark of this world. And if we look at these statistics here, we are already on day 402. So hopefully we can get whatever we're working on today finished in 98 days or less. But first, this board has not been working for us. We haven't really been following it, and the ideas that we put down are not the ideas that I have for this world anymore. So let's go ahead and place all these signs back and switch up this board a little bit. We have a couple of farms to get done, so I want to put a raid farm on here. And I think I can do that in the same episode that we take care of the iron farm. There's not really a good way to make a raid farm pretty, so I don't think I can drag it out to an entire episode. Maybe we can just squish those together. We can also really benefit from having a library as well now that we have villagers. But one of the good ways to get some emeralds for us early on is going to be a farmer trading hall. And I think I want to make a sort of farmer's market. I would also really love for us to get a greenhouse taken care of, and maybe we can put bees inside and a small little automatic moss farm underneath. And of course, we really need a wool farm. I'm not liking that the sheep are living with the cows currently, and I'd really like to change that. I think since we have two trading halls down here already, the library and the farmer's market, I really did want to try and make a fisher's boat too. I've never made a boat before, so we're gonna have to see if that idea sticks or not, but I'd like to try. And of course, we need somewhere to farm our trees at that is not completely ugly. And I think those are decent goals for today. This board is getting a little bit big for my taste. I don't really have this many ideas at once. We might have to rework this. But I think we can worry about that a little bit later on because I don't feel like changing it right now. We have been pretty regularly live streaming as well, and we got this sweet little kitty cat in our house now. Thanks to all of the villagers in our village, we have some cats that spawn occasionally, and I've been trying to collect some. We only have one right now, but I'm sure we can get some more. And another thing that we did recently is overhaul our entire crop field that was originally right here and only for wheat. And that was taken care of on a lovely little long play, so thank you for watching that if you did. And I'm really enjoying the way that our base is looking in this little area. We have some fishing docks, this crop field, and our mining outpost. But I think our next project is going to take place between our house and this giant barn here. We have a big eyesore of an open space here, and I think we can put something here today. But before we do any of that, this village deserves some pathways. It is really, really rough out here, actually. So we're gonna have to do quite a bit of terraforming and get rid of these trees and put a nice pathway in that leads right up to the village gates. And this is looking like a pretty big project to get terraformed up and cleared out, so we might be working on this on a live stream. Oh yeah, we got zombies in the village. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, get them camels. No, don't touch my camels. We're gonna have to do something about this section over here. so that no mobs spawn up there and crawl down into the village and eat people. I'll try to be a little bit mindful about that and make sure that we try to sleep every night just so that we don't lose all of our villagers the episode after we got them. This terraforming is definitely looking very rough, but I think I want to put this pathway in and finish this terraforming in this section here now that we have a flat space to work with. I know it's ugly and it doesn't look good at all, but we're definitely going to finish this up on a live stream. But for right now, we can just go ahead and work on extending this area a little bit and getting a decent pathway in. I would also like to get this little section done before we run out of dirt. I really need to go get some more, but to do that, we need to do even more terraforming. So this is gonna have to wait until the next live stream. But we can get this nice cozy pathway in. I do want to try and leave this little tree here if we can. I feel like if we have a pathway coming from over here, kind of past this tree, this would look really cozy. It'd be a nice spore blossom spot too. I think this is going to give us a decently shaped space to try to put in our pathway. And good thing too, because we are almost out of dirt. We just have a few stacks left. I definitely don't want to use 100% of what we have and then be completely out of everything else. Another small thing that we recently did in our long play is give ourselves a nice little crop and composting area. And this is actually underground right in front of the crop field. I think we need to put a little bit more grass here to kind of hide it a little bit so that there's a little hidden area for crop storage. I was going to make a little building, but I felt like I didn't have any room over here. And this section right here that's available, I actually have saved for a plan in the future already. Let's go ahead and quickly grab all of this leaf litter and get it out of our way. This stuff is plentiful in the forest area. I did not know that this would be in my way 100% of the time when I chose this area for a base. But I think we've managed pretty well so far, so I don't think that this was entirely a bad idea to base in this area. I am really loving how our base is shaping up to look. If we fly up over here in Freecam, you can see this section is pretty close to being done. And this kind of looks like a really bad heart now that I look at it. That was definitely not intentional. I think the live streams have given me a really good excuse to decorate in random places around the world instead of feeling like I have to catch everything on recording. And our base has definitely benefited very well from that. Let's go ahead and grab some of our materials for the pathway so that we can get that placed in. Now we just need to break and place blocks over and over again. And we kind of just made this pathway go straight up to this gate right here, but I think I'm going to also wrap it around on the side to the other gate. And this pathway finally looks pretty good, but I want to take it all the way and make sure I get all of the flowers and clutter up some plant life around the sides. So let's get to work of placing all of these tiny little wildflowers and cherry petals. And of course, we can just bone wheel up these areas to add some nice foliage and grass. And the very last thing that we're going to do is make sure that all of this lighting looks pretty and we can't see any ugly torches. And now this little pathway is looking much better, and there's still a couple of torches and more terraforming to be done, but I'm not sure if we're going to connect to this build with the village as well through a pathway. So I don't want to add much other than that. So I think that's a good place to call it for now. And we can finally move on. One thing that I did forget to do was put away these materials right here. And I was actually thinking how I like these slabs and stairs on this little wall here. Oopsies. And I think I want to continue that theme over here as well. So if we just take away all of these on the top row and replace them with slabs and stairs, I think that would look a lot better. So let's just quickly get this taken care of while we have these materials in our hands. And I think just adding the small amount of depth to the top of this wall here already makes it look so much better and looks more cohesive with what we have over here. I really do love this crop field. I'm super happy that we took care of this. I've been needing a better crop field for quite a while now. But now we can actually sort all of these materials and put them away. So I was thinking now that we have a good crop fields set up, I kind of want to make a little farmer's market over here next to the barn. I feel like this space would be perfect for a bunch of stalls with villagers. And it kind of goes with the surrounding area as well. We have some crops, a little garden, we'd have a farmer's market, the barn with the animals. I feel like it would work out perfectly. So let's quickly get to work on clearing out this area and we can figure out exactly how much space we're going to need and what this little farmer's market is going to look like. We definitely have our work cut out for us with this terraforming over here, and I think we're going to have to take care of that on a live stream. So I will go ahead and take care of all of this terraforming and check back in with you when we're ready to get building. One very quick live stream later, and this entire place is now looking very good, and we can finally put something here. The live stream was definitely short, but we at least got a decent amount of progress done. We ran into a couple technical issues, and it looks like we're getting a new computer, so hopefully that works out okay. I am a little bit nervous about transferring this world to the new computer when I get that, but I'm sure I can figure it out. And my idea is to actually put a trading hall in the back over here in this section and then fill this place with some little stalls and clutter just to make it look like a little market. But I do want to put the villagers in a safe little building, so we'll go ahead and put that right here. And we need to grab some materials for that. Excuse me, sir, you can't be here. Thank you. I want to quickly start with the front of the building, and I think I want it to go kind of here. Maybe one, two, three, four. And we can just do what we usually do and lay out some nice bones. And I think placing this build right about here gives us the perfect amount of room for a nice little cozy market area and a pathway along the side up to more builds in the future. Getting the bones for the bottom floor in, and it looks like this trading hall is going to cut into this hill here. And I don't think I want to re-terraform it. I think it's going to give this space a little bit of visual interest and difference, considering all of our other buildings sit perfectly right on top of terraforming. And we definitely need some that are not as perfect. So I think we're going to roll with this. And now that we have the first floor's bones in, I'm thinking I'm going to want to bring this whole entire thing up by another floor. All of the buildings that we have in this area are definitely very tall, and I feel like we need to continue that. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, goodbye. Now, for this roof, we've used a lot of bright colors for the roofs, except for on this building and the tower that is all the way back here. And I think I want to use a very similar design for the roof over here and use some dark oak wood, but it looks looks like we need to bring some more deep slate into our builds. So we're going to try something with that. I am just going to roughly place in the shape of the roof first and then figure out the designs in a moment. This roof is definitely very, very close to what the barn's going to look like, but we're going to try to decorate it completely differently so it doesn't blend in too much. And make a miniature version for the front and back little pieces that stick out. And now our trim is looking very nice, so we can go ahead and move on to the next part of the roof, which is going to be filling it all with deep slate. Hopefully the deep slate that we have on us is going to be enough. If not, we are going to have to collect some more, but that's not too big of a deal. I think that having a nice dark colored roof is really going to make this stand out a little bit more than the other buildings that we have. So hopefully we can make this look very nice once we get it decorated. Before we finish filling in the entire roof, I do want to come up here really quickly and see if we can get some windows in here. And I think if we place one in the very center, just a little peek out window, we can put a very short roof on it, and hopefully it can still line up with the rest of the roof. We were able to make a short, very small roof work on the mining outpost, so I'm going to try to copy some of the ideas that I had over there. And it actually looks like if we put just a regular little roof out of stairs, that this will fit just right. I actually do want to go ahead and replace this top deep slate here with some slabs so we can continue the vibe that we were using in the village with the little trims up top on top of the roof. And it actually is going to line up perfectly for us with these little windows. We're going to have to do just a little bit of messing around to see just how much different detail we can put into this roof compared to the barn over here. Now that we have a nice overall shape for the roof here, I want to go ahead and make sure we get just a bit of lighting up here and finish cleaning up some of the windows as well. And I think if we round this off to get one of our fancy little window designs in here, this will look really nice. But I do want to see if we can cut this off with some little logs that are sticking out. And then we can put these same logs on all of the corners as well, all the way around the build. Let's see how we like that if we repeat this on the other side and place these down on the bottom as well. And I think that this is going to help this building and this roof area look just a bit more interesting, and it already looks drastically different from the barn that we built, even though it's pretty much the same shape. The last bit of detail that we need to fix is this side piece of the roof, and I'm not exactly sure what we did. Something like this. I think we can go ahead and repeat this design over here. And just bring down a good amount of spruce logs. And I'm not exactly sure what kind of detail I want to put in this roof here up top. But I think we're off to a really good start, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this on the other side, and we can start clearing out some of this terraforming on the inside of the build and get the walls in. We can always come back to this little space later on, so it's totally fine to just leave it for a little bit longer. I think before we work on getting these walls in, we're going to clear out the little extra bits of terraforming that are on the inside of the building here. Just so that we have a big, flat, open space to work with on the inside. And I think we can just go ahead and close this off with some of our packed mud. And I think this is already looking pretty good, but I do want to come in and texture with some mud bricks. We are going to have to get a little bit more mud, but I think if we texture it up just a little bit, it will help the build look a lot more complete. And yes, I really like that. So we're gonna do this all the way around. And now that we have all of this texturing on this wall here taken care of, we can go ahead and move on to exterior decorating. But first, I do want to apologize a little bit if there are any differences in any audio quality or, of course, video quality in this video. I had a few technical difficulties a few days ago, and I actually had to get a whole new computer. So I'm pretty sure most of my settings are very close to the same, if not exactly the same. But just in case, I did want to apologize. But thank you guys for, watching and being here anyways. It really means a lot. I'm also not too sure what this grainy, blurry thing is every time I go outside versus inside. I'm not sure what shader setting that is, but I don't remember that happening before. So if that bothers you guys, I'll have to look into how to get rid of that. On stream, we did find a good few geodes as well. I have a whole bunch of calcite here, and we actually have two geodes that are directly underneath where our little home waypoint is. So down, if we go straight down, right here, there's two of them right next to each other. So we're gonna have to build a little calcite, or not a calcite farm, one of the amethyst cluster farms with those now that we cleared them out. So we're definitely going to use all of this calcite, but I want to get some dark oak wood as well, so we can put some of that in for the floor. So we can go ahead and wrap this all the way around the building and fill in the floor with some dark oak wood quickly, and then move on to the upstairs walls. I'm going to quickly place some torches down now that this floor is put in, just to keep everything lit. And then we can go ahead and wrap in this calcite. I'm so excited to be building with this. I haven't used it yet in this world, and I've been waiting to get my hands on it. So I'm super happy to finally be getting into this stuff. But we're going to wrap this all the way around the top floor. I would like to come around to the outside here, and I want to try to see if we can put in some windows. Maybe just a little one block windows all the way around the top floor so that we can put a nice little overhang over top of them, and maybe a little flower pot or something in front of the window. And we can just put one on every single little 3 wide gap that we have, with a nicer 2 tall one on the sides of these little towers because they are a bit bigger. I'm actually going to go ahead and fill in the ones in the corner of the walls here because we are going to have a little pillar in the corners to help section off some of the villagers, and I don't think the window would look nice on those, so we'll have to figure out something else to put there. And I think on the bottom floor here, we can just go ahead and add little 2 tall windows that are about 1 block up from the ground. And that should center nicely with the rest of the build. We can go ahead and skip these corners again, and then just try to fit these windows in everywhere else. Get out of here. Get out. I think we can fit one more window here and one final window right here, and that should be all for all of the windows. Oh my goodness. The mobs are falling from the sky. Get out of here. Leave me alone. This build is looking pretty good, pretty simple. I kind of enjoy the simplicity of it because there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on in front of the build here. But I want to go ahead and finish up all of the exterior details, put some nice arches in the windows, some little window coverings. So let's go ahead and get to work on that. And I think we can just go ahead and add little arches all the way around here. Kind of like this on the bottom floor. Just some simple upside down stairs, and a trapdoor always looks very nice. And I honestly think in the center here, we can give it a tiny bit more interest by adding a little slab in the center. And we will do the exact same thing here in the front of the build. Need more trapdoors really quickly, and there we go. I think we're gonna have to fill in these little gaps here for the windows really quickly on the entranceway so that we can get in a nice doorway and just kind of fill that in with regular logs. And we can round this little spot off too. I actually think this would look a little bit better if this was mud here, and that looks nice. We can place in our little doorway here, and that is a finished entryway almost. I do want to make sure that we put some buttons on the ends of all of our logs here. Get this scaffolding out of the way. Just wrap this all the way around the entire building. Oopsies. There we go. Last button. And that looks really nice, but I think we can do a little bit more decorating. I think we can brighten up this bottom floor just a little bit with some oak wood designs over top of the windows. And I think I want to make these little posts stick out just a bit more with some stairs at the bottom. Oh, hello, llamas. Is there a trader around here? I don't see one. Uh-oh. I think he died. That's not good. All right, buddies, you belong to me now. And you guys can hang out right here on this pathway in front of this gorgeous barn. Yeah, I'm really not seeing a wandering trader anywhere. It was just nighttime while I was building those, so he might have gotten eaten. I think it would be nice on all of these walls to add a little wall fence to chain and a lantern just for a little bit more detail. I think this always looks so nice on builds. I think even just a wall fence and lantern looks really nice, but in this case, I think the added chain is going to help bring back some of those dark colors from the roof up here, as well as the deep slate tile walls, because they almost look the exact same color. This is a little bit more blue than that, but it still looks pretty good together. And we definitely aren't going to be able to put anything on these two. We might honestly just put some walls, some fences, and some chains to kind of keep the idea of the decorations, but it does get cut off by the landscape. But these last two in here, and I think that is going to look really nice. I would like to come up to this second floor here and bring back in some more dark oak wood. And of course, round off these top sections as well with our spruce wood trims. And I think we might actually skip out on the little trapdoor on top here and stick a lantern in the very center for some more lighting. And on the corners of the walls, I want to continue with our wall, fence, chain, and lantern design from earlier. I think we can fill these little sections here in with some moss and maybe bring out a trim in front of this with some slabs and trapdoors. And we actually don't have enough room to put flowers underneath the little doors here or the little overhangs for the windows. So I think we can mix in some azalea leaves and regular azalea leaves. And then we can hug this in with some signs. And I think once we get that on all of the little windows on the sides, that's going to look really nice. Oh my goodness, that literally scared me so bad. Okay. Oh, why did that give me a heart attack? What the heck? Hello. Oh, slime balls. I can make some emeralds really quick if I grab some hay bales, so I'm definitely going to do that because we have lots of hay bales. Whoa, the sun looks so intense. Get back over here. What? He only gave me 2 emeralds? What the heck? Is that it? Really? Oh my goodness, that's the worst trade ever. I just wanted to buy some slime balls. Dude, this guy sucks. Y'all can go on and get. All right, let's continue getting all of this detail in here on the second floor. We're getting very close to having the exterior details done, but I do need to get back up here and add just a couple more buttons that we missed. And I think on these sections, to keep it a little bit interesting, we can just fill that in with a wall, fence, and a lantern instead of just a lantern. So it doesn't look so open and bare compared to the sections that have little windows on them. And I think we can add our little trim up here to this section as well. I do want to make sure that we get some lanterns up here, and that should be all taken care of. I think for the very last bit of detail, we can go ahead and add some walls. And maybe if we take away these signs, we can actually add some little fence gates. And I think this is going to look better for a trim, actually, if we can make this work. We can go ahead and change all of this really quickly. And if we step back, I do really like how that looks. I think we're going to do that. And now that we have all of that replaced and changed out, I actually really like this idea. I think this looks a lot better than it did before. I think in these little empty spaces on the bottom floor, we can put some big pots with a little cherry sapling in them to bring in some nice pink color to this build. Just wherever a window is not at, so we can skip these windows and add the pots on the empty sections. Oh, and it looks like I forgot another stair here. That's okay. We will have to skip all of these because they are all the way in the ground, but we can go ahead and put one right here. Oh, one more in this little section here. And there we go. It doesn't add a whole lot of interest, but it does add something, and I really enjoy these big pots. They're so much fun. I haven't been using many of them because we've been really broke on some resources, but we have so many bricks now, so we have plenty to make nice big decorated pots. I think just to finish these windows off as well, in here we can put an upside down oak stair because it does look a little bit empty and I don't know why, but it's bothering me a little bit. So we're going to fix it. And this is definitely looking nice and cozy, but we have a few more decorations to get in on the side of the roof here and some lighting to mix into the top of the roof as well. I think that we finally came up with an idea for the design on the side of the roof over here. So I'm going to take this top bit of detail and quickly repeat that on the other side. Let's just get all of these little last, oh, let's just quickly get all of these last little bits of detail in here with these lanterns. We do need to go in and add some final details to the roof. Go ahead and make our way all the way up. And I think what we have here is going to be a pretty similar length to the barn as well. So we can put some walls and fence gates all the way up. Hopefully these will line up decently. Get these last 3 fence gates in, and then I want to come in with some lanterns, and we can just start on the edges here. Wrapping this all the way down to the bottom, keeping this one here and putting more on this section in the very center of the build. And then we can finish this off by placing these lanterns on the edge section on the other side. Oh my goodness, I keep falling off the roof. I do want to try to add some sort of spike design in the center, just to make this a good bit different from the barn. So let's see how this will look. And honestly, I don't think that looks too bad. It's definitely very different, and I don't think I've decorated like this before on a roof, but I think I'm gonna leave it because it might grow on me even more. And I'm really liking this. It's very different, but it's also very similar to some of the things that we already have. So I think it's gonna work out really nicely. Oh, oh, it's just you. Why is there only one of them? Hello? Got me all scared for no reason. I haven't seen any pillagers in about 100 days now. We were seeing them nonstop and then they just left. So it looks like they're back again. Oh, wow. Looking at my mini map, we have so many villagers breeding over here. They are going crazy. Oh my gosh. What the heck? There's so many babies. What have I done? Look at them go. Oh my lord. They move so fast. Oh, that's hilarious. But we need to get these villagers some places to stand or, yeah, not live. Definitely just stand. Let's get all of this floor carved out so we can put a nice design. And our previous terraforming is kind of a disaster. I don't think this looks good. But it's okay. We won't have to look at it once we have the floor in. And I think this might be kind of expensive for a floor, but I definitely think we should use some oak logs facing in different directions. Alrighty, we did have to collect just a little bit more spruce wood really quickly, but we have the entire floor put in. And I'm now noticing that I need to fix these little pillars here on the inside. There we go. That's all taken care of. And now the only other thing we have to do is put some villager stalls in here and get some windows going. Just to keep everybody nice and safe. Let's quickly go ahead and get in all of these bits of glass on any of the windows that we have on the downstairs section. And I think we can go ahead and space out these villagers just a little bit. And it looks like we even have space to put some villagers along this wall as well. So we're going to go ahead and do that also. And it looks like we have room for exactly 26 villagers on this bottom floor. So we can go ahead and bring all of these pillars all the way up to the roof. Let's see if we can work out a nice design. We can actually take back some of our logs here just to save on some resources. And this might not work out, but I want to try to add some color in here with some of these amethyst blocks that we haven't been able to use yet. I did go ahead and play with the design that we had just a little bit more, and I'm really liking this depth and detail that we have going on with this amethyst. And once we get some flower pots and lighting up here is going to look so much better. And I honestly think that we need to remove this window here. I know that it's going to be a little bit boring without one, but we need to put a staircase back here. I think we can just break this whole section away right here and put in a little spiral staircase. Maybe to about there for now until we decide what we're doing with the roof in here. And then we can add our windows upstairs really quickly. Okay, looks like that one is much better. It's definitely very dark back there. We're gonna have to fix that. And we don't really have room for proper lighting, so we might honestly have to put a torch there because we don't have any glowstone or frog lights or anything yet. Decorating with torches is not my favorite, but we definitely have very limited decorative resources at the moment. And I'm honestly not even sure if we're going to need all of these villagers or not, so maybe we can just put 4 on each of these sides and call it good. We can always add more villagers later, but it's not as easy to take villagers away from a trading hall once you have them set up in here. And I'm not sure what we'll use it for yet, but we can actually fit an entire third floor in this roof. It's so big. We actually have not added any red color to this build yet, so I think we can go ahead and add some to the ceiling here. It's probably the most cursed thing I've ever done, but I am way too lazy to walk all the way around to get in the house, so we're just gonna go in through the window. You didn't see anything. Ooh. One thing that I do know for sure is these dark colors are getting just a little bit intense. So this staircase we're going to make out of oak slabs. And I think honestly, if we get a nice strip of amethyst in this floor here, it will also show through to the ceiling and hopefully it will look nice. And I think this will look okay once we have the other decorations in up here, but I do want to make sure that it looks good from the bottom floor. And I think this might look nice once we get a little bit more of our decorations in. But I'm going to leave it for now. We're going to have to stick with it for a little bit to fully see how we feel about it. And just listen to these footsteps. So pretty. Let's make this floor a little bit more interesting. And since we had to clean up these little sections here where the staircase is, we can just go ahead and bring these all the way across to the center. Let's just go ahead and do that on this side as well. And let's just go ahead and add a little bit of contrast in the floor. And I want to take away this dark oak wood and replace it with regular oak wood. I think this floor is already looking much better, but one more thing I wanted to do really quickly was to fix this last staircase, and I also want to turn this into oak wood because it is still looking very, very dark on this bottom floor here, and I would like for it to be just a little bit brighter. So any decorations we use moving forward will be bright, happy, and colorful decorations. And we did accidentally make this floor just a bit shorter than the other one, but that's totally okay. Very quickly, before we finish up with all of our decorating, we have a good start, and I'd like to get our villagers in here first before all of the rest of the details go into place. I definitely don't want any of these villagers to grab any of the wrong jobs, so we need to get a couple of mine carts and get to moving. Get all of these rails placed down that we can. Oh my. We might have to make sure that we sleep. Hopefully this very janky system will work for us. It literally just starts here and goes all the way to the little trading hall in through a window, but surely we can get all our villagers in here this way. We can make a nice handful of mine carts. I don't think that these villagers will walk out of the village, but I want to try to get all of the adults that I can. There are so many children, though. Oh my goodness. They're everywhere. Oh, hello. What are you doing up there? Does anybody want to get in the minecart? Anybody? Hello? Maybe if I just place a bunch of minecarts and hang out and wait, that they'll come over here. I think I have to wait for the middle of the day for them to take a break from working because they're all busy doing their jobs. Oh, they're coming. Get in the minecarts. Get in the minecarts. Yes, we got one in the minecart. Oh, get back here. Everybody get in a minecart. Everybody gets a minecart. Get in there. Get in the minecart. And you get a minecart. Can you get a minecart? Everybody gets a minecart. It's working. It's working. Get in the minecart. In the minecart. Do you want to get in the minecart? No, you were so close. Why don't you get in this nice minecart that I have for you? Does anybody want to get in a minecart? This guy's just watching me steal all of these villagers. Oh, he's gone. Bye-bye. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to go check on this guy and make sure he made it safely. I'll be back for you guys. Thank you very much. Let's make sure to get some of our handy little trapdoors, and we're going to be placing them right here so that these guys have absolutely nowhere to go. And we can just go ahead and continue grabbing more villagers. Looks like we have 2 in the minecart right now, but it is getting a little dark. Let's see if we can push this guy over to the rails. Nice. Off you go. Get on the rail now. Okay. Get you guys nice and cozy. And let's move this other guy that's waiting for us. Thankfully, this system is working pretty well. You're already a farmer. That's pretty nice. You're a cat? There's a cat in here. Oh, never mind. This is definitely going to take quite a bit of work, so I think we're going to finish up getting the rest of the villagers moved on a very nice little live stream, and I'll check in with you guys when we're ready to finish decorating the build and get our little farmer's market put in. Alrighty, we have a very ugly little setup here, but I'll quickly show you what we've been working on. We've been giving all of our carrots and food to these villagers to try to get them to breed, and there is a couple of babies running around, so we're kind of just waiting for some of them to grow up. The villagers kind of walk up here over towards the bells, and then they get stuck in this area. They're also kind of coerced over here with these little job blocks. This setup is so ugly. It's literally, I'm not really sure what I'm doing when transporting villagers. I don't do it very often, but we're almost done. But if we hop upstairs, this downstairs is completely full now, and now we're just working on getting this done. And it's pretty loud in here. The villagers, they are yapping. But we just need to get some composters in here, and some of them are getting to work immediately, which is good. And I think once we have these little things set up, it'll be easier for us to decorate. But I'm honestly waiting on some of these villagers to breed in the village and for our trap to start working that we have set up for them. But I think if we just ignore this ugly little rail, we will need one final villager in this spot right here, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It'll probably just be the very last villager that we get in here, but I think I want to start decorating today. I wonder how we can make these guys sound a little bit quieter, because they're pretty loud. This villager transportation has definitely been a very chaotic process. I don't think I've ever actually completed a trading hall in vanilla before, so I'm really excited to be doing that. It is a pain. It's definitely not an easy task, but we are making do pretty well, I think. On stream also, while we were waiting for all of the villagers to breed up, we did decorate the last few houses that we've been neglecting. I made sure to put extra beds in all of the spaces so that the villagers will breed up nice and fast. Even this house here used to be previously just full of beds, but now we kind of made it a little bit cozy. I do have a bunch of decorative blocks kind of sitting over here still, so I'm gonna just grab all these up so that we can try to decorate the little trading hall that we have. I am going to take a break from transporting villagers just for my sanity for the time being because we were moving villagers for probably about 3 hours. And we still have probably about an hour's worth of work to go. So I might honestly do that in another stream or just off camera because it's very repetitive and not exactly the most fun. I think we can fill some of these awkward spaces with some cute bookshelves. We can put extra composters here with some flowering azalea leaves. And I'd like to get some of our moss carpet down, at least over in the entryway area. And we need to light this up with a nice little lantern. I do want to be putting lots of flower pots up here. I'm not sure how many exactly. Let's see if we can fit some of these lanterns up here. We'll have to skip this one and then place these two down. And I think in all of these flower pots, along with the moss carpet, these azalea bushes will look nice up here. Try to add a mixture of different colors. Let's get rid of these torches on the floor and see where we are lacking in terms of lighting. Get these little bookcases in, and I actually don't have any more books. So we're gonna have to break some of these to add some books to the chiseled bookshelves. But I think what we have going on for some of the decoration is looking nice. I'm not too sure what else to put in here. I don't want it to get too laggy or crazy. But I'm thinking we can put a nice carpet. We'll have to finish putting this carpet in once we get this little ugly staircase out of the way. So we can go ahead and leave this like that for now. And we're going to need just a little bit more lighting. I do want to very quickly mob-proof the front doors to the trading halls. We can put a little fence gate in here. And it doesn't look too ugly. I think it looks fine, and it will keep the villagers nice and safe from any mobs. I do want to try to add in maybe a very small chandelier with some lighting. And we can place some lanterns in, and I don't think that looks too bad. It is very low, but I think we're going to leave that. In the upstairs areas where we are not having any villagers on the sides here, I want to put in some little workstations because we're definitely going to need some crafting tables. I'm not exactly sure what else we would like in these little workstations for the time being, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put in all of our lighting. And of course, we can get our flower pots up in here as well with all of our little flowering azalea bushes. All right, now we have these lanterns in. Let's go ahead and get rid of these ugly little dirt blocks. I think instead of some bookcases, I want to put some decorative elements in these little cubbies that we have upstairs. And we can't forget about our little composters with flowering azalea leaves in the corners. We can add little flower pots and just a few different miscellaneous items in here. And I don't exactly want to put any carpet on this because I really like the way that it sounds and I really like the way that it looks. So we're going to leave that alone. We can go ahead and add some random decor to these little crafting stations. And we do have a small few friends that look like they'd like to run along to a new home if we can grab them in these minecarts. So I think we're going to finish moving all these villagers now. And off you go. And off you go. And we are finally done with this section over here. Now we just need to get 8 more villagers and we will be completely done with the inside of this training hall. All right, that is the last villager for the top floor here. We can go ahead and get rid of all of these rails almost. And we can place back in this stair and trapdoor. And we're gonna get one final, oh my goodness, hello. One final villager, if that's even possible. Oh my goodness. And if we can get this guy, yes, in the minecart, we can also take away all of these composters that are scattered around and make this place not look so dang ugly anymore. I'm also going to pick up all these rails that we don't need anymore and break this dirt away. I am very, very happy to be done with villager transportation. Now we can send our final villager all the way to the trading hall. There he goes. There we go. Perfect. We can also replace this window here and pick up the rest of these rails. We do need to get all of these guys as many carrots as they'll take so that they start breeding again because we only have 3 villagers now. Go ahead and take some carrots. Thank you very much. And now that absolutely everything has been cleaned up nice and easy, we can head back into our trading hall and make sure we get the very last composters in place. 1, 2, and 3 up here. And fix our little holes in the ceiling. And that should be a fully completed villager trading hall. Let's go ahead and double check the upstairs. And yes, all of these guys are working and they have their job blocks. And we're ready to get started. Now we can do all of the little crop trades that our hearts desire. But we need to do something about the front of this build because we did say we were going to put a farmer's market in, and it is currently completely empty. I've been making sure to collect up lots of wool also for all of these stalls that we're making while we've been working on this trading hall. But one thing I did overlook is we need to get some various colored dyes. But luckily for us, if we open our mini map here and scroll out just a bit, there is a small flower forest over here where we can pick up some flowers to give us dye colors that we don't already have. We're absolutely going to take as many different colored lilies that we can carry. I might leave 1 or 2 in the places that they spawned so that we can come back and make some farms later. Flowers are definitely something we use a lot, so we're definitely going to want those farms. This flower forest is very tiny. I think there's only 6 alliums in the whole flower forest. We didn't get a lot of flowers from this. Okay, we've definitely looped this place quite a few times, and I haven't really found much of anything, so I think we're just gonna head back. Maybe we can find a bigger flower forest in the future, but this one will have to do for now. I'm also going to set up just a couple of cactus here for the time being because we need some green dye as well. And I don't have very many cactus, but we are going to put the dyes to the side for a little bit and start mapping out where we want some of these stalls to go. And I think it might help us visualize just a little bit better if we break this grass away here and put in our pathway. And now that we have this very simple pathway leading all the way up to the trading hall, I'd like to map out where exactly I want to put this little farmer's market at. And after placing the first little section, I actually want to map out a little bit more pathway through here to line up with this little side door of the barn. And this way, this area will all flow nicely together and we won't have to worry about changing anything later for aesthetics or ease of transport. And I think this is going to suit us pretty well. It's nothing crazy, but it does kind of give this side door a little bit more purpose than it held previously. And I do use my side doors a lot. I love my secondary doors. They tend to get used more than the main door does. Now we can just get back to laying down little sections where we want these little stalls to go. And of course, the final pathway section that I want to get in is going to lead up to our little village. I'd really like for all of these things to kind of connect to each other pretty seamlessly, so we're going to try to make that happen. We're definitely going to be making sure not to skip out on any pathways at all, because we definitely have in the past, and it just leads to a lot of excess work to do later on, or things start looking ugly, and I really don't want that to happen. Ah, baby zombie! Oh, I missed. Oh my goodness. No, thank you. Get out. Alrighty, I think we're finally looking good in terms of where the pathways are going to sit. We have one that wraps all the way up to this section here and then crosses to the 2 village gates. And then we have, of course, the one from our main pathway all the way up to the trading hall. And this branches off again to the village over there and then right here to the side entrance of our barn. Now that we have most of these little stall sections mapped out, I went ahead and added a second little pathway to connect up to our beautiful little garden. And holy crap, I've been working on pathways for like an hour and they're still not even decorated with flowers yet. But now that these locations have finally been marked, we can start working on building the very first stalls. And I think I'm going to make the base structures of these all the same out of spruce wood, just for a little bit of similarity. And I think that we can finally go ahead and start bringing in what these stalls are going to look like. We'll start with this one right here. And I think starting with this first stall here, we can go ahead and mix in some wool. I can place that. There we go. And some of these pale oak logs, along with a strip of orange wool and acacia logs. And it doesn't match too well right now, but it will look a lot better in the sunlight. And I think just a very simple stall design like this is going to work out really nicely, but we do need to strip up some of these oak logs really quickly because I'd like to make some oak shelves for the back wall. And if we just line these shelves along the back here with some slabs up top, we have a pretty cute looking display case for things. I don't have a ton of colored wool yet, but I do want to come in with some white banners. We are working on getting some wool from our colored sheep in the barn. And then once we get all of these other stalls put into place, we can get super decorative with this area. It's not looking like much yet, but I think it's just going to get better the more color and variety we add to this area. So we can go ahead and move on over to this stall, and I'm thinking we can try to put in a pink stall here. I do want to go ahead and just get the basic shapes of all of the stalls laid out. We can always come back and further decorate them later. But right now, we just need to work on getting in all of the colors. We can even put in a nice little stall right here in cyan. And for this little blue stall here, we're going to use some cut copper slabs. And it doesn't match at all right now, but as soon as it oxidizes, it'll look just fine. And finally, for the last color that we're going to mix in throughout this little market, we're going to be using some mangrove wood and some red wool. And now that we have all of these stalls in place so far with all of the colors and the corresponding banners on the front, I want to go ahead and put in a couple of random tables. So this way we have plenty of space for even more items and clutter to sit on. And I'm just going to put these pretty much anywhere that feels empty. Farmers markets that I've been to personally usually turn out to be pretty cluttered and chaotic, so I kind of want to repeat that idea in this build. And I think even though not everything is going to be revolving around crops in this farmer's market, I do want to include some random hay barrels just in little stacks scattered around. And adding campfires to these is always a really nice touch. And I think just a few of them scattered around is going to be just enough. And looking at this farmer's market, I do actually want to extend this pathway going around this side of the barn here up to the front so that we can add a couple more stalls in here because I really like how this looks and I want more. And this place is definitely going to look very alive once we're done with it. I'm super excited to see what it looks like when it's finished. But we need to quickly get the rest of these little stalls in. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit. This place is finally coming along really nicely, and all we need to do is get 3 more white banners to finish up this stall, but we added a totally new second walkway with a couple more stalls through here. And I think once it's decorated, it's going to look so nice. I did leave a bit more of a gap between the trading hall and the main hall, and I wasn't really a fan of how this space over here was so empty, but I think the second pathway with even more stalls helped fill it out very nicely. All right, 18 wool should make 3 white banners. 1, 2, and 3, and we're finally done with the wool part. And I think everything structural about all of these stalls is finally completed and we can finally move on to some decorating. I think what I'd really like to start with is a little section for a bunch of armor stands here. We can add a little smithing table with a grindstone. Let's put the grindstone over here. We can also place various armor pieces around here, just in different spots. We want to have good variety in here, so we're going to make sure to add some copper. And it just started raining, but we can add in some gold throughout here as well. Some boots here, and then we can finish all of this off with a little bit of diamond. And I think if we leave this with a couple of slots missing on some various places of the armor stands, it'll kind of look like some of it has been purchased already. So I think that's going to add a nice little touch. And even just having one tiny section decorated here with this little stall table and a little clutter stack behind it with these empty stalls already looks so good. And I really just want to fill these spaces in with pretty much anything that we can think of. Like a nice little stand here for various flowers. We can get some of our brand new flowers in here as well. Put one maybe right here. We can add another little flower stand on the opposite side of the little farmer's market that we have. Recently on stream, we did find a couple different amethysts, so I think we can showcase some of the amethyst clusters in one of these stalls as well. And I think that's going to look cute. There are a lot of stalls to get through though, so I think I'm just going to start placing things and hope that they look nice. We can open up this stall in the center here, adding some books and a couple of different item frames. Maybe like this to display some different books. We can add some pumpkins and hay bales inside this one here. Maybe we can share this one here and then add some item frames with regular wheat and pumpkin. Oh my goodness, and pumpkin seed. I think a nice composter here in the corner would look nice as well. We could try to place some random exotic items at this table, kind of like just a random, I have a little bit of everything stall peeking out here. And I think this little section that we have decorated is looking so cute. Maybe we can even get a little bit of a spooky theme going on over in this stall. And I was thinking about placing TNT, but I think maybe we should just keep it here in the item frame instead. That might be a little bit safer. And I do really like the amethysts that we have, so I think I want to continue placing some of them in another stall of their own. We can also add a little light in here just to make them glitter just a little bit more. They catch the light so well with shaders. I think that looks so good. I think we can try to open up this stall here just a little bit. And when you walk in, we can showcase various different mob items, maybe some leather, steak, and even some bones. I don't really have any meat colored blocks, but maybe if we hang some mangrove wood, it kind of looks red in the center and I don't know, it has like a neutral look almost. Like it could be fleshy if it wanted to. We'll just have to use our imagination. And we haven't gotten very many of stalls that have like little ores and things. So I think it might be nice to add just little valuable things scattered about with this stall. And this place has definitely turned into a decorative and not at all purposeful little section, but I really like the vibe you get when you walk through here. We do have just a few stalls to finish up. I think we have one here, two, three, and a fourth stall back there, but we've done pretty good so far. And now we finally have all of these stalls completely decorated and full of lots of different items. We have a few simple ones and a few very full ones. And I'm a little bit nervous to add any more decoration or entities because I really don't want this place to lag. So I think we're going to move on to adding foliage and trees to finish up. And this space is a bit tight between some of these stalls and around them, but I'm going to try my best to add in as many trees as we can possibly fit in here. I think we could do with another cherry tree on this side, right hanging over this path, hopefully. Yes, that's perfect. And we want to make sure that we hide all of these torches completely in the ground. I don't want any torch to be seen. We're also going to bone meal up the area, leaving just the short grass, and then we can place in a couple of different flowers. See if we can try to get one more tree right here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want a tree. What if I move it right here? Give me a tree. Oh, that works. And there's bees. Hello. And I really think that this little farmer's market turned out a lot better than I expected it to. And now we just need to make sure that we got all of the flowers placed on all of the pathways. And I'm definitely going to get most of these pathways finished up, but some of them we're probably going to be finishing on stream later this week. And finally, we can take a nice walk through here with our tall flowers and scatter a bunch of different ones around. And I don't think we left any area untouched now. Everything is nice and full of life and full of flowers. We even have some bees flying around since we already had flowers placed. A little beehive spawned for us. And I think this place managed to turn out exactly what I hoped for. We have so many cute little stalls, and it looks so full and so cozy. And with that, I think that fully completes our farmer trading hall. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. We've had so much fun on this world, and we're about to hit day 500. Ah, that's so exciting. I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you again for your patience with this episode and with me figuring out my brand new computer. I really appreciate that too. I hope you guys have the wonderful day that you deserve, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.